Hello, my name is Maria Torres. This is my oral presentation one. We're going to be talking about the stages of change model right now. So the stages of change model, also called the trans-theoretical model, was created by researchers named James Prochaska and Carlo Di Clement in the 1970s. Basically, the stage of change is to help the client to view their substance of use and how it is affecting them, and after the recovering, have them maintain their new lifestyle. It's a process of trial and trying not to make an error, but basically a trial and error. But even if the clients do have it, let them know it's okay and encourage them. So the stages of change of model is a process that clients go through when they are trying to get better, like I said, creating their new lifestyle. So creating a new lifestyle is hard. I feel like a lot of people, have a habit that it's hard for them to, work on. So in the stages of change model is a process. So there's pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, and relapse. So in the pre-contemplation stage, clients do not want to hear the consequences. They really don't want to know more about the struggle they're having, or even if they do know the struggle they're having, they don't want to fix it. They don't want to know nothing to do with treatment or anything with people trying to help. So what ends up happening is that unfortunately they have to go through, most of them, have to go through a negative consequence, such as getting something that, frightens them, of course. And so then that's when they enter the next stage, which is contemplation stage. And in this stage, the client starts to want to actually be more focused on what they're struggling with, substance use. So they start to want to know more information. They start to see the negative impact that this substance use has on them. They start to want to know more consequences on what would happen to them. They want to know more information. They go to counselors, and and in contemplation, it's hard for the clients because they're contemplating, it's either what they enjoy doing, in their head, what they enjoy doing versus what their health, basically, in this case health, so it's hard for them to want to enter a new lifestyle. And so here they just want to know more research, which what happens is that they will hear the treatments, they will want to know more, and they want to do a lot of things, but they won't 100% be there, which they won't promise to commit to an approach or that is given to them in this stage. And it's fine. It takes time, and people in this stage, it takes time. People in this stage, it takes months or even years for clients to become wanting to go to the next stage. But it's very important in the contemplation phase for counselors to use centered person approaches, like motivational interviewing, and not use confrontational approaches in here, which could not be good because it might end up to arguing. Okay, so now I'll go to preparation. Once the person gets out of the contemplation stage. Fortunately, they go to preparation, and in this stage, after fortunately they have gone through that, they want to attend treatments. They actually want to attend treatment, and they want to have a new lifestyle, and after they gain those resources in the action stage and preparation stage, they start planning. So the counselor basically helps the person. The counselor basically tells them their resources, their what they what it provides, and then the client will plan their change, and what they have to do to quit their substance use. So and they will understand how they will make the change, because it's their lifestyle. They know how they want to make the change, and such as cutting back. It doesn't have to be a major goal, like be abstinent. They don't have to. They could just cut back on alcohol, so here, like I said, they ask professionals, gather resources and knowledge. Here they get to know their triggers. They get to know their triggers and what makes them end up going back. Here they start to understand, and then they start to want to avoid social events, start to throw away their ashtrays, their lighters, stuff that triggers them. They get to know the triggers, and they let them go. So that's in preparation, and they also look for support. They look for support if they need any, or they let their family and friends know what they're going through, what's going on in their situation right now. And yeah, that's what happens in preparation phase. So we're gonna go to action stage. So in action stage, after coming from preparation stage, after planning what they have to do, understanding, learning their triggers, everything, they go to they actually start doing it. They keep making big changes. They're rewarding themselves for those changes. And it's not, they won't be completely big changes, but they will be there. They start to understand, analyzing, they start changing their behavior, because they're analyzing what they were doing. So this is a good thing. Action stage is a good thing, and action stage is very stressful for clients, because this is where they're actually doing what they prepared. So it's very important for clients to learn with coping with stress and any others, that would make them want to fall into relapse, which we will get to relapse in a minute. So yeah, so after learning the techniques, they end up after going to action, they're actually doing it. They're having a change of behavior, change of mind. They go into maintenance. So maintenance, number 5 stage, number 5 maintenance, the client will basically be doing what they did in preparation and action. They will be doing the goals they set themselves up for preparation, and they will be continuing in action stage. So in maintenance, the client just has to maintain it, what they did. And the client here has to understand, and and it keeps themselves from doing substance use. And that's why it's very important that in maintenance stage, they know what they learned from action stage, or how to cope with stress. So because in this stage it is very important to avoid relapse, because in this stage they're maintaining it, so they have to go to like support groups or something that will keep them focused on what their goals are, and have them maintain it, like, like in the back of their head or something, having, because they're building a new habit, or something that we're used to, and a new lifestyle. So yeah, of course. So in maintenance is maintaining it. So after that, it goes through the process of stage that we hope, counselors hope they don't get here, but it happens. So in the process of change, the individual, according to what clients have set themselves for their goals, relapse should not be looked at badly. It should not, because so many clients, have their own journey, their own addiction journey. Like relapse could be seen in so many other forms too, in aspects of people's life. So it happens, people start to understand in relapse what they have to do, because they could fall and get back up, and try harder, so it's okay for people to relapse, but just continuing further, letting them know it's okay, and it's a journey, and it's there's still hope, and yeah, and there could be several ones. So we'll change the talking from the stages of change. We'll go into 5 techniques used in motivational interviewing to make a therapeutic relationship. So I have empathy. Having empathy for clients, having them understand that you understand them, and that you are on their side, not letting them feel lonely, and care for the client. The clients will become more open to the client counselor and say more, if they have empathy. And and empathy is it has authenticity. Authenticity. So yeah, empathy is very important. Oh my god, I'm going over my time. Okay, so evoking change talk. When counselors start asking questions, they want to make changes, they want to know what will happen, after they do this, or what they think, how they view themselves years from now, or like, they start asking questions that make the client, analyze, and start analyzing and trying to say, directing them to change talk, you're kind of right, and it makes them analyze and understand their condition and what they have to do. And that's why it's good for in a therapeutic relationship to have a change talk. It builds that trust, that they are there for the good in them, So normalizing, it's also good to use normalizing in therapeutic relationship, because they don't want to be judged or feel like they're being criticized in there. So and they're not, and it's not wrong, so normalizing is basically the counselors talking to them that it's okay, and they're not the only ones going through it. There's many other people going through the same thing as them, and having them, let them know it's okay, Open-ended questions, having the client give more dialogue. We want clients to give us more explaining, details, and so we have to ask open-ended questions, such as, how was that like for you, or what's different about now, what's different about quitting this time. So yeah. And so in reflective listening, basically repeating, what they have to say, um, well, not have to say, but what they said, basically, like it sounds like you became more concerned, or what I hear you saying is that, and trying to understand them, because that way they see, oh, you listened to me, okay. So they're having those having that reflective listening makes them learn also the authenticity of the counselor. So it's very important for having and building that therapeutic relationship. Okay, so how does resistance play a role in the process of change? Okay, so resistance is common when using motivational interviewing. When a client is being resistant is when the stages of change come into place, because resistance is basically a client not wanting to change. It's them, having that they have their own choice. They could change anytime they want. They don't see any impact on them. So basically, in here, the counselor has to use change talk, like I said, in therapeutic relationship, has to use change act, avoid confrontation, use empathy, because here it's very important for the counselor to not mess it up, because it might make it worse, but this is where the counselor needs to change something if the client becomes to get more resistant. So yeah, it is used a lot in motivational interviewing, and it can happen in motivational interviewing if they're not liking what they're hearing. So 4, discuss what at least one advantage and one disadvantage of using motivational interviewing with clients struggling with addiction. Okay, so motivational interviewing with a counselor will be great. You know what? I forgot. Resistance. I had a resistance paper. Advantage and disadvantage of using motivational interviewing. So an advantage of using motivational interviewing is that clients are doing their own changes. They're building it, they are creating it, they're understanding it, they know what's going on. So when a person knows what's going on, when a person knows when they understand something, they do it, they have it in their back of the head. You know what? They start building that conscience. They're like, I have to do it. So yeah. Motivational interviewing is very good for that, and it is an advantage for the counselor too, because it's good. Okay, so a disadvantage of motivational interviewing is unfortunately, motivational interviewing is a very tiny time compared to a large amount of time. So like, you see the person for 1 or 2 hours, and then they come back and they're less motivated. Why? Because they're in a new environment. They talk to the same people they've been talking. They could be toxic. They could be, you don't know what their surroundings are. So when they come back and they are less motivated, it happens. And that's the disadvantage of motivational interviewing, that we can't be 100% there, with them 24/7. So that's the tricky part. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for hearing me. Bye bye.